Okay, let's get these videos finished up so you guys can study. This is multiple representations of linear functions, which is a fancy way to say different ways to show what a line looks like. So let's start by looking at this first one. Whenever you are given an XY chart here, like you see right here on the right, the first thing you need to do is graph those points anytime, no matter what, because that's going to lead you to your answer. So -1, -5 is right there. And that is not on that line. So let's try this one. -1, -5 is right there. And that is not on the line. -1, -5 is right there. That is on the line. And -1, -5 is right there. So we don't even have to go any further, and we know that C is going to be our answer. Now I'm going to go ahead and plot the rest of the points just to show you where they are. So 1, -1 is right here. 2, 1, right there. And 4, 5 is right here. So if you take it and you plot all of these points on your graphs, you're going to find the one where all the points land on the line, and that will be your answer. Okay, so let's go here, and we've got another chart, but this time it says which equation represents the same linear function as the table. What we're going to use this time is our calculator, our handy dandy calculator. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm actually going to put in everything after the equal sign for each answer. So I'm going to start by putting -x plus 7. My next one is 4x plus 3. My next one is 8x plus 7. My next one is x plus 8. Now, I've got everything in there. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go down a line, and I'm going to put in x equals 1 and see which of these equations, x equals 1, gives me 7. X plus 8 gives me 9. That means not an answer. 8x plus 7 gives me 15. Not an answer. 4x plus 3 gives me 7. Well, that very well could be it. And -x plus 7 gives me 6. That's not an answer. So right away we know it is B. Now, what I would do to make doubly sure is I'm going to erase everything but my answer. Okay, so we're saying 4x plus 3 is our answer. Okay, x equal 1 gave me 7. Let's check the next one. How about x equal 3? It gives me 15. Perfect. How about x equals 5? It gives me 23. So I am absolutely certain that B is my answer. When you're taking these high stakes tests, you want to make sure that you check everything out and make sure you've got it right. So let's try this next one. All right, this one says which table of values is represented by this equation. Again, I think I'd go ahead and probably use my calculator. I could also graph my equation, y equals 3x minus 2. While we're here, let's go ahead and just look at that equation. I'm going to go ahead and write here and say my slope is a positive 3. And my y-intercept is a negative 2. So I could easily graph that. But let's go ahead and use our calculator to every advantage. So I've got 3x minus 2. Okay? And I'm going to go in and I'm going to make my x equal 1. Let's try A. That gave me 1. That works. So let's try the second one in A. X equals 2. Uh-oh. That gave me 4. So this gave me a 4 here, so this is out. So let's go back and we're going to try B now. We've already tried 1, but let's do it again to make sure. 1 gives us 1. 2 gives us 4. 3 gives us 7. it looks like this is our winner, but because we don't want to make any mistakes, we are going to keep trying and make sure we check them all. 4 gives me 10. That one works. 6 gives me 16. So that one did not work. So that one goes out too. So let's go back and try D just for good measure. 4 gives me 10. Okay. 6 gives me 16. So again, that one doesn't work. So B is definitely our answer. This Desmos calculator is a godsend. It makes life pretty darn easy. So take advantage of it. Let's see what's next. It says the graph represents the same relationship as which ordered pair. Personally, what I would do is I'd go ahead and I'd just graph points and see what works and what doesn't. So I'm going to start with A and go to 8, 14, which is way up here somewhere, which is definitely not on my line. So let's go ahead and just put an X through that. All right, B comes with 8, negative 18. So let's see. 8, negative 18. Who knows? We're going to have to check some others. 9, negative 20. 10, negative 22. You know what I'm noticing about these? I'm going to go ahead and back up a little bit and redo this. I'm noticing that these coordinates are crazy large, which means they're way, way off your graph. So the way we're going to have to do this is we're going to have to use our calculator. But to do that, we have to be able to write the equation of this line. So let me show you how to do that. Y equals mx plus b. So I'm going to start by going y equals. So I'm going to figure out my slope. I know that this point goes right through a corner, and I know this point goes right through a corner. The first thing I'm going to notice is definitely a negative slope, and my rise and my run. That's a 2 and a 1, so that means it's a negative 2x, and my y-intercept is right here at plus 2. So I'm going to put that in my calculator. This was very interesting that they chose to give you points that were so large you couldn't easily find them on a graph. So they wanted to make sure you knew how to do what we're getting ready to do. Now that we have our equation, we're going to plug in x values. X equals, and let's put in 8. That gave me 8. So that means A is out. I put in 8 and it gave me 8. That means negative 18 is out. Now let's try negative 10 for C. See how that works. So equals negative 10. And that gave me 22. That didn't work either. So D's got to be our answer, but let's make sure that we're sure about that. We plugged in negative 10. We did get a 22. So now let's plug in negative 9 and we get 20. And let's plug in negative 8 and we get 18. So D is definitely your answer. You really couldn't find it on a graph unless you use an entire sheet of graph paper and draw it out yourself. But what we could do is easily write the equation of this line the way we've shown you using a y-intercept and a slope, and then you can put it into your calculator and it does all the work for you. Okay, that was a tough one. So we might have to visit some of those in class and make sure we can get them. All right, well, that looks like it, everybody, and good luck. Keep studying. You can do this. I believe that.